Listen, I don't give a if he was to break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record 10 times over. He ain't the fucking GOAT. There is only one and forever will be one fucking GOAT. Michael Jeffrey fucking Jordan. Period, goddammit.
Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the fuck it is?
Aries and Andy. Chew and the jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut cocaine. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Fuck being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Cry, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism,
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bitch bag holders.
Rollers, clip loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
What if he breaks Will Chamberlain's off the court scoring record?
Which I took a tenth of a beat to go, what? And then I went, oh, okay. Yeah, he can have that
He
one.
can have that one. We're going to talk basketball then?
Yeah, we got to because there's some shit.
Excuse me for one.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that. Yes.
Avengers.
Assemble. Wow. Big trade. I'm more excited about that than the Kareem LeBron record.
That record. Okay, let me just listen. We know that you're the ultimate Jordan junkie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with you. I ride Jordan. That's the okay.
I ride with Jordan.
Yeah, I ride with Jordan. Sorry.
Yes. But you be having some moments where you say shit, and if somebody walked in the room, they'd be like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Jesus, when we were in Massachusetts and you said that one thing, I can't remember what it was, but this is like the third time you have said some shit where I go, oh boy.
I'm almost 60. I think I'm having old man slippage now. I think so.
And that don't go well with I ride Jordan either.
I ride Jordan shoes.
Okay.
I'm all about, but we all do. And you made that great. You put out the post where LeBron's kids on his night that he breaks the record.
Right. I got on Jordans.
Anyway, going to what you're saying.
Yes.
It's a big deal. It's a scoring record. But when we break it down, there's reasons why there's these records. And congratulations. I think that's a great achievement. But that's an individual achievement, and the ultimate achievement is
championships. And to which, again, we hear the echoes of, if it's about championships, Bill Russell's got 11. Listen, I'm not going to go down this road anymore about trying to explain that to y'all because, I've done that before. But speaking of which, I will say this. There is a awesome documentary on Netflix about Bill Russell that Andy brought to my attention. And before this thing is over, we will give you the name. It's a 2-part.
It's Bill Russell Legend.
Okay, it's called Bill Russell Legend.
And there's another there's multiple episodes, I believe, because there's still shows one. So I think there's more coming.
There's 2.
There's 2. So there's another one coming.
They're both downloadable. I watched them both.
Really?
Because that's it. Because at the end of the second one, it's his journey from beginning literally to the end.
I guess I just didn't download it, or maybe when I went to download it, the second one wasn't available yet. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's only 2 parts because by the second part, he passes away. So that's it.
Well,
but check it out. It's called Bill Russell Legend. It's amazing. But back to this shit. And when I sent the post, here's what I put this picture up. Now here's and this is what's killing me about this new generation. And I get it. This is your time to the youth. You want your time to count. So LeBron is this generation's Jordan. And they're going to stand behind him and they're going to ride him, as you would say, to the fucking ends. But again, I'm disgusted by people my age that are jumping ship. It seems like there is this wave where it has become popular to disrespect MJ. Like, motherfuckers is shitting on MJ at a ridiculous pace. And I'm going, where the fuck is all of this disrespect coming from? And, you know, I just think that in life, when you get older, when you no longer do what you do, people tend to forget. They want to forget. They want to move on. They want to ride the nice, whatever the new hot trend is. And LeBron is the hot trend. Breaking this record. It just seemed like prior to him breaking this record, if you did a poll, more than most people still felt Jordan was the GOAT. I would say, I'd like to say 70-30, but maybe more 60-40. But once he broke the record, it was like the new hot club in town opened up and everybody wants in. All of a sudden now, every piece of media outlet, sports outlet, fucking people, everybody, he's the GOAT. It's official. It's over. It's over. He's the GOAT. Because he broke the record? Dude, he broke the record because of longevity. That doesn't make you the better player just because you stuck around the longest. You know, again, I'm going, dude, let's put this into perspective, people. If Jordan came straight out of high school, like LeBron, if he didn't retire twice, once to go play baseball for a year and a half, basically 2 years, and the second time at the end of the 98 season, and he adamantly said he would have loved to come back. But the Jerrys didn't bring Phil back, and he didn't want to be coached by anybody else but Phil. So if you take away the two retirements and Jordan came out of high school, and consider this, before I break this down, Jordan played 14 seasons. LeBron played 20. Michael accomplished more in less time. So you mean to tell me that the greatest scorer of all time, especially in an era where scoring was tougher, if that man came straight out of high school and didn't retire twice, he wouldn't have beat Kareem's record?
I don't know if he would have beat Kareem's
No, he
record.
would have beat Kareem's record.
But who cares? We're talking about this Bill Russell.
No. But I'm talking. I care because we're talking about the thing that are making people go, LeBron's the GOAT now.
Yeah, but here's where I'm going to give him the who cares. We just watched the Russell documentary. Wilt and Russell, the big rivalry, the biggest at the time, maybe still one of the biggest ever. Wilt beats Russell in points. Russell beats Wilt in championships, in wins, on the floor. Yeah, he might have scored 60.
Okay, thank you.
He might have scored 60, but if you don't win the game, what's the purpose of putting up the 60? Fucking take the night off and go fucking get a massage because you ain't winning the game. The point, I hate to say it, but this is the way, the quote, we play the game to win.
And to you LeBron fans, it amazes me how they go, and this is the hill you guys die on. He went to the finals way more than Mike, 10 times, but his record was 4-6. Like to Andy's point, what are you celebrating?
No, you know what?
I mean, granted, you played a game to win, and 4 titles is nothing to laugh at. But again, when you look at the record, he's 4-6. Yes, he won 4 titles, but that's a losing record. MJ is 6-0, undefeated, perfect. What are you guys celebrating? That is simple math to me. This new math that you motherfuckers is on is insane. You respect listen, some guys, greats, legends, Hall of Famers, go their whole careers without winning a title. Does that make them any less of a great player? No. Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, whoever, great players in LeBron's era. Yeah, you're still a great player. You're still a Hall of Famer. But no one gets into the league to go, I just want to, if I don't win any championships, you could put me in the same boat with the guys that won championships. No, that's a different lunch table. Magic, Bird, Michael, Kobe, Shaq, Wilt, Russell. That's a different lunch table. You still are welcomed into the cafeteria. You still can eat. But motherfucker, we the champions.
And you watch Shaq do it to Barkley all the time. All the time. And it's the one thing Shaq has over Barkley. Like everything else.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of debate on which one of those two. But not just there, but business. We can get into a lot of different avenues on this. Yeah, it's about winning the championships. But here's to their side. And I'm going to give it to their side a little bit. On their argument. Yeah, Jordan's 6-0 in the finals, but he did take 2 years off. If he didn't take that 2 years off, one, it lowers his career, lowers his points. But, his body recovered. He stayed in shape. He was still working out. He was playing another sport. He had to get back into basketball shape. But, some of those muscles got to take a break. His ankles got to take a break. Some of his body got to take a break. Maybe he isn't getting, maybe he doesn't go 6-0. Maybe he loses that next year. Maybe he goes 6-7. Maybe he loses one of those. Maybe he loses two. Maybe he doesn't come back and win a three-peat because he was tired out. I'm just saying that you can't do those what ifs. Here's I stick on what you originally said. 6 versus 4. Is it 4 or is it 5?
You're talking about
Michael has 6. LeBron
has 4.
4. I don't even know what
he's 4 and 6.
Okay, so if that's said, championship pedigree, who changes the game? Michael changed the game inside and outside. He changed it on the court.
Thing. Impact.
Changed it on the court, changed it off the court. Why do people don't wear those fucking nut hugger shorts anymore?
Jordan.
100%.
He ushered in the baggy shorts, the longer shorts.
Why don't we have to wear white shoes on the basketball court anymore? That was Jordan. No, thanks to Nike paying his fines the whole time.
Right.
But he had an impact that goes beyond the game. That's why when we're yelling.
I like what you just said. Beyond the game. Beyond the game.
And that's what makes you.
And he made it global. Yes, Bird and Magic saved the NBA because it was dying after the 60s into the 70s. But they saved the game. But Michael took it and he took the baton and went, now watch this.
And he did. Now, also, he had David Stern. There's other reasons he had, but LeBron had David Stern too. And LeBron, listen though, let me, this is where this gets confusing and people don't want to understand because they only have the history that they have instead of overlooking all of history. Look at what he did for the game. But now to LeBron, if you wanted to go to a lab and make a basketball player, you wouldn't put Jordan's brain in LeBron's body?
I wouldn't put anything into LeBron. I would make Jordan.
Okay.
I would pick Jordan every day, all day.
But Jordan couldn't play every position LeBron can play. This is where some of these arguments come in. But LeBron didn't come into the league with the mental. He never came into the league with the mental.
But listen, I don't think it would be significant for Jordan. He doesn't need to play every position. He was a killer at his.
Yeah, he dominated.
He never saw Game 7 in the finals, ever. He got rid of you quick. He had an assassin's heart mentality. Listen, and again, to LeBron's own admission, when he went to Miami and he played that first series against Dallas, they lost. And LeBron said, I basically froze. When the fuck has Michael Jeffrey Jordan never froze? Now, don't tell me about losing to the Pistons. Losing and freezing, two different things. People lose. Freezing, that's a choice.
No, those points are those are just the lower. Those are off the bench points.
He got done up LeBron by J.J. Barrera and Jason Terry. Who has Michael Jordan ever got done up by? And when it counted, really. I know Rex Chapman for one game in Miami, not the playoffs, but a regular season game, gave Mike the business. But I'm talking about when it counted. Whenever it counted, Jordan went in the telephone booth, came out with the cape, and saved the fucking day. I want to look at these stats. Look at these stats. And what's amazing is this is how insane you Bron fans are. Is that I'm about to say what I posted. These are facts. But y'all act like we making this shit up or y'all blatantly ignore it. All right. Jordan versus LeBron at age 38. 2 3-peats, LeBron 0. 0 final losses for Jordan, 6 for LeBron. Jordan played 14 seasons, LeBron 20. Jordan 6 titles, LeBron 4. Jordan 6 finals MVPs, LeBron 4. Jordan 5 regular season MVPs, LeBron 4. 10 scoring titles, LeBron's 1. And this don't even include how many times Jordan made Defensive Player of the Year to LeBron's almost none. Get the fuck out of here.
LeBron.
And then throw in the impact. More accomplished in less time. What are you guys what the fuck are you seeing?
LeBron saved some games though with some defense. He has defense.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he doesn't, but in terms of actual DPO-wise, Mike has more. And here's the last thing I'm going to say, which, again, pisses me off about these LeBron fanatics. They go, well, Jordan played against truck drivers, plumbers, and ice cream truck drivers, garbage men. And then they bring up, Dan Marley and Craig Elo. Listen, basketball is a team sport. Every team Jordan played to win a championship had more than one Hall of Famer. What the fuck are you got? Like, yeah, there are certain guys at the 2 guard that Michael just dominated, but he didn't have to. It wasn't about him dominating his position to win the title. They had to beat the teams. And all the teams he played had fucking Hall of Famers. And I was gonna say champions, but nobody ate on Mike's watch until Mike retired. Then Akeem got a chance to eat. No one ate on Mike's watch. People ate on LeBron's watch. And people who bring up the competition that LeBron played against is far tougher. Jordan wouldn't have beat the San Antonio Spurs with Duncan and Kawhi Leonard. He wouldn't have beat the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Yo, the Bulls win 72-10. You want to sit here and make me believe that a team that goes 72-10 couldn't beat the Spurs with Kawhi Leonard, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, and Tony Parker? Did they go 72-10? The team with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, did they go 72-10? No. The team without Kevin Durant and Golden State went 73-9. They beat the Bulls' record by 1 game. But guess what? They didn't win the championship. They lost. Don't mean a thing without the ring. That was the Bulls' slogan. And when they went 72-10, they went, yeah, we got the record, but it don't mean a thing without the ring. Championships count. Why? There's no way you can sit here and convince me that any of the teams that you say are far superior today would just, and you guys kill me because you say it like it's matter of fact. That is so far-fetched to me that you think a team that went 72-10, 4 of the 5 starters are defensive juggernauts. Michael, Scotty, Dennis, Ron Harper. 4 of their starting 5 were known for defense. Michael Jordan, the most potent scorer in the NBA. Scottie Pippen, at that time, one of the best all-around players in the NBA. Dennis Rodman, the best rebounder in the NBA. Phil Jackson, the winningest coach in the NBA. Steve Kerr and Judd Bussler, 2 3-point assassins. When you double down on Mike and Scotty, you leave them open. Tony Kukoc, a 6-man matchup nightmare. 2 7-footers, Luke Longley, Bill Winnington, who could shoot from the perimeter and pass, and then open up the lanes for Michael and Scotty. Are you fucking serious? Where do you guys get your balls? That makes no sense.
Well, and then the other one is the athleticism in today's sport. It's
bigger, stronger, faster, bigger, stronger, faster. But yet you motherfuckers do rest management.
Well, not only that,
the Warriors. I'm sorry, I'm just getting passionate.
I know.
The players of the 80s, 90s era, they played all 82 games. They didn't do rest management, and they didn't form super teams. You guys, today's generation forms super teams. Fuck playing against each other to prove who's the best. You unite, which dilutes the league. It makes it weaker. Not to mention, the rules are such where the game is softer.
Okay, that's the thing that I was going to hit on. The rules were made to be more defensive league at that time because they didn't want 120-point blowouts where no one was playing any defense. They wanted it was all offense. And now the rules have reverted to, one, protect multi-million-dollar and $1 billion business, and we want to make sure that players' safety is the most important thing, which should always been, but let's just say it wasn't. And you also have the rest management thing is ridiculous because if you paid hundreds of dollars to come see a player and then they're going to take that night off, that's painful. I would lose my mind,
especially when they're not hurt, but you protected their fragile little bodies.
It was just it. Now we have different times, and so that's why things are different. Would you say LeBron is though the king of this
generation? Yes.
Okay,
but the fact that you could make the argument. Clearly, you can make the argument that Steph Curry could be too.
No. I can't.
You say no?
No, I can't.
I guarantee you people will write in and disagree with you.
Write it all you want.
No. Let me tell you something. There's no way you can't put Steph Curry in that argument for who's the best of this generation. But my point is, when Michael played, You couldn't.
Okay,
He
that's a
was
great
the
point.
one.
But with
That's it.
Steph has a position that he plays to better than anyone else. Best shooter, probably the best shooter ever in the NBA.
I wish I knew how many championships Steph. I think Steph won 4. But he has 4. He has as many as LeBron. So how can LeBron be clearly, just undoubtedly, the best of this generation when Steph has just as many titles? But here's where you'll give LeBron the edge because of the stats.
No, but I give LeBron edges on other things over Curry and most of the players, including some of my favorite players. LeBron doesn't really get hurt. I mean, he has been hurt.
He's been durable as a motherfucker.
His body's built for this kind of game from the ankle.
But also, his body is able to be built for this kind of game because the defense is not as hard.
That is true, but he still has a body for this game. Curry, name everybody that I thought was going to be the next greatest player, and they have injury issues.
Kawhi Leonard. I think if Kawhi Leonard didn't have the injury issues, he'd be right there as a toss up.
And my new man right here. He has injury issues.
Right.
And
when you, speaking of Kevin Durant, when you motherfuckers go KD, the Bulls and the Jordan ain't never seen a player like KD. Mental fortitude, mental toughness, grit, heart. You don't have a 3-1 lead against a team that you should have beat, and then you lose to them, and then you join that team the next year. Picture Mike doing that. If you beat Mike, he put it on his calendar. See you next year. Are you fucking serious? So calm down with the KD talk. KD's a monster. But mental fortitude, grit, and toughness, you join the team that you blew a 3-1 lead to the next year? Get the fuck out of here.
I think that has more to do with the team that he was on than just joining the team. And he could have picked a different team. He could have, and people brought that up. But I think I think that was an opportunity, and he took it. I'm not ever going to be mad at him for doing that. Yes, I would have loved to see him go somewhere else, build a team, work it all around him, and make it a great team, a juggernaut. But he took it the way that he took it. And you're talking about a guy that came back from Achilles.
Right.
This is not, and you're not talking about.
It's usually a career-ending injury.
And you're not talking about a small person. This is a person that's 7 foot.
Right.
This is a big deal, and he came back and he's strong. I mean, he's out right now.
That's what's the word I'm looking for? But that's a connection to today's technology in terms of medicine.
But you still have to have the mental fortitude to be able to come back from an injury like that. You have to be able to take the pain. You have to go through it. I have obviously but I've always been a KD fan. That was never there. I like he's different. He's different in a lot of ways. I like how his Twitter works. I like how he mentally goes at people. I enjoy him before he ever came to Phoenix. But now that he's in Phoenix.
Oh, you changing that. Look at this motherfucker. Yeah. This is a proud moment for you.
But now that he's in Phoenix, I can really root the way that I want to. So
before we jump on to Phoenix, I want to say this last thing. And again, yes, LeBron has been durable. But I love also, because I really got into it with motherfuckers over this shit on Twitter in the last 48 hours. When y'all talk about, man, you could put LeBron in Jordan's era and he would dominate. I do believe he would dominate. I believe he would dominate in any era because LeBron is special. Just like I believe Jordan could dominate in any era, but even though you guys will go, if you put Jordan in today's game with the talent that's out now, Jay Morant, KD, Giannis, LeBron, yada, 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 Jordan wouldn't be Jordan. Jordan was putting up 30-something in an era that was tougher, more physical, hand-checking. In this no-touch era, in this easier era, so many pro ballers go, Jordan would average 50 easy. Get it out of your minds that Jordan couldn't play in today's era and be just as dominant. And again, I believe that LeBron could play in Jordan's era and be dominant. But don't tell me that this motherfucker, you think he just gonna run through the lane and do what he does in terms of these fierce dunks and not get touched if he went through the 80s Pistons, the 90s Knicks, Mason, Oakley, Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, Lambeer, Mahorn, Rodman, Sally. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Well, yes, LeBron is a Ferrari, but he's going through traffic with 18-wheelers. He gonna get touched.
just also remember this, you guys, when you go back and look at it, go play the tapes over again. You'll hear the announcers go, no, that was a good foul. That was a good foul. Today, that foul would get you thrown out of the game.
Come on, man.
It's a different game.
Come on, man.
So I think it is a disrespect not to understand the impact that Jordan has all the way around the game, all the way to other countries before. And yes, LeBron touches other countries too in his fandom that people have for him. But Jordan did that when there was no NBA in those countries.
No social media.
And he brought it. He was the social media. He came there.
I like that. He was the social media. He's all you talked about socially.
So it's completely different. And for you guys to be that far off.
I'm telling you, man, it really bothers me because it feels like there's this undercurrent of, yo, it's popular to disrespect Mike. Like, it's become popular.
I don't think it's a disrespecting Mike.
Is.
No, because I don't think by saying Mike is the greatest that we're disrespecting LeBron. And I think that's where this gets confusing is that people think if you're not on one, you're the other one is off. You don't even think that they should be playing. No, LeBron is one of the top players ever. But that doesn't mean that I give him the GOAT status because he didn't do for the league frankly, he didn't do for the league what Magic, he didn't do what Bird did, and he didn't do what Jordan's did. Above all of them, he didn't do what, I
think LeBron's impact is his longevity and the fact that he's been so physically durable. But in terms of oh my God, you come to work the next day by the water cooler. Did you see it? Did you see it? Oh, when Michael did, impact. Nah, man.
Impact you have to look at. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain is probably the closest to me to Jordan, honestly, as far as impact, international, local, a big deal that affects people outside of even the game. And then after you go there, then you got to go Dr. J because Dr. J was Michael before Michael. He brought street ball onto the court, changed the way people played the game.
Right.
Then there's Jordan. And yeah, now there's LeBron. And you got to put Kobe in there. Yeah, but his game was so much like Jordan's that I can't separate the two.
Right.
But LeBron is in this time, LeBron's the man. But overall, when I look back at all the greatest players, who's affected the game the way that I've seen it from history to today, it's Jordan.
And let me say this last thing quick, and then we can jump on to the Suns. To all you men out there that like to say in my posts and with me and in this debate, why can't we just celebrate them both? Why do we have to big up one to lessen the other? They're both great. If you don't get your pussy vaginal ass back in the kitchen with the women and finish making the sugar cookies and don't burn the honey baked ham, get your vaginal G-string thong wearing asses out the motherfucking, away from the goddamn poker table and out of the pool hall. This is sports. This is male tribalism. This type of debate goes on from every barbershop to every street corner to every dice game to every home to every sports bar where they serve motherfucking buffalo wings. This is what we do. We're men. You pussies, you vaginal ass niggas, untuck your dick from your thighs. How dare you? Turn in your strip club card, your motherfucking Buffalo Wild Wing cards, coupons, and leave your Raccoon Lodge hat at the door. Get your pussy asses out the male lodge. How dare you say that as a man? What a pussy vaginal thing to say. Why can't we celebrate them both? That's some shit women say. Get the fuck out the treehouse and don't climb down, jump out the window.
But to be honest, we do that when we're saying who's your Mount Rushmore, who's your top 10,
yes,
who's your top
we're
5.
men. That's what we do.
But then when we get to the who are the top 3, that changes things on people. So no,
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, man, it's gonna,
I know you.
I'm not as hyped as some people thought I would be.
Let me ask you this: are they locked in? Is it definite?
No.
I think it's definite.
No, because listen,
if they stay healthy,
that's the key.
Chris Paul, Devin Booker, now KD,
DeAndre
Ayton. Yo, if they stay healthy, they're in. I don't know who beats them.
I don't. Well, you have to have a bit. You have some bench concerns because they're not deep. They weren't that deep in the first place, and now they lost 2 starters. But they obviously gained one. That's incredible. But you're asking KD to stay healthy, and you're asking
Chris Paul.
Yeah,
that's the biggest.
I don't even want to say his name real loud.
He might get hurt.
Yeah, just
you saying his name might get him hurt.
No, if I say it loud with the word injury next to it, I'm afraid those two might go together and fuck him up. I'm not going to even say his name and injury in the same sentence. That's a lot to ask for, not for them to get injured on the rest of this run. Now it could happen, but if it does happen, it puts them in a situation. Our backup point guard is hurt. Right
is
now.
that the nigga that looks like a mongoose?
Yes. And all that's happening right now. So, they're injured. Booker is kind of coming back. I'm glad they're bringing him back slow so that his body can heal and get him resting, because we don't want to get to the point where everybody's healthy and we get into it and they put too much pressure on Booker and then his leg goes out, because that ain't going to work either. So I think they're doing it right. When I first heard about this, I looked at it
as a sloth.
I looked at
Payne. That nigga looks like a sloth.
Cameron Payne.
From Ice Age.
Yeah. But I don't like to say his name with injury in it either. None of them. But here's where they're. I was looking at that. This is going to be if everybody can stay good, and that's a big if. Next year, I was looking. That
makes me more nervous.
But it makes me more nervous because
Chris Paul has a whole year to get hurt.
Well, not only does he have a whole year, but he's a year older, and he's already old. So it should be this year. I would like to see it happen. Man, it's just hope that no one gets hurt. And this league, you could be the strongest person, you could be in the best, and all it takes is somebody else to fall down over someone else 3 feet away and roll over you, and you're done. And so it's not even on you; it's just circumstance. So I worry about it when it was done. I was, to make my powerhouse team, I would need Chris Paul to be a little younger. I need KD to actually be at least a year younger, but I would love
Listen, I think with KD, age-wise, Chris is fine, because without KD, that's much more of a burden he has to carry. But with KD and Devin Booker,
it opens up a lot.
Oh, my God.
But just listen to this. If you were able to get a solid journeyman center, and you move DeAndre to the power forward, KD on the small forward, Booker.
There is no solid journeyman center in today's league.
But
there is none.
Okay, just get a rim protector, because everybody else can move out everybody else moves out. They play there's some defensive issues on our team too. But if you were protecting underneath the rim, so people just couldn't run right underneath there. Mm-hmm. I just think, I know the position that DeAndre came up in at the U of A was center. But as you watch him continue to play, and the way he likes to play, and the finesse that he has in his game, and his good hands that he has to grab the ball, but he isn't I'm going to, not like a Shaq, like I'm going to stick it in your face, I'm going to dunk on you. That's not his game.
Right.
If you move that around a little bit, that team would scare the fuck out of me. If you could do that and open up the floor like that, these guys would go off.
Yeah.
That's just my head. I could be completely wrong.
I wish the playoffs could start right now.
I wish they could too, because 2 weeks. Let Booker get a few weeks in, and let KD be ready to play. I don't know how much longer is it before he is ready to play.
Right.
So a lot of the analysts that don't like this, we're talking about, you gave up a lot, and it's still a very questionable talent wise. It's not questionable. They can do this if the talent is healthy and holds up. The question is, can they be healthy all at the same time and go on a run? That's the question.
I love Phoenix. I love the city. It's a little spread out like LA, so you need a car to get to where you're going. But once you get to where you're going, I like Phoenix. I love the nightlife. Phoenix going to be popping this week.
Oh yeah,
the Super Bowl, Scottsdale.
Yeah, and the trade, man. That was so funny when they were doing the ESPN went down there the day after the trade was announced. ESPN was in Old Town Scottsdale, and they want to have a conversation about football, but the city's going crazy about KD coming.
Right.
So
This is Phoenix gonna be popping this weekend.
Phoenix is a great city, man. I actually, it took me a while to miss Phoenix, and I still miss Phoenix. I love being on the East Coast. I love everything about the East Coast except for when it gets brutally cold. But other than that, I hate when it's brutally hot in Phoenix. So what I hate is these extreme weather things. But Phoenix is great, man. You can really enjoy yourself, but it is a car city. It's not like where you have public transportation.
Right.
But the city's cool because you have Phoenix, you have Scottsdale, you have Tempe. I mean, just those three, and there's more cities obviously wrapped around it. It's very LA style, the way the city's grown.
I'm wondering, with it being a Mormon spot, the NBA All-Star Weekend is in Utah. What's that going to be like?
I don't know, because they have drinking hours.
Yes.
Change. It's not.
And can they break those? Is it breaking the law, or can they make adjustments specifically because the NBA is in town?
I'm sure they could pass some kind of temporary ordinance for the city, but could you or would you? Because that goes against how they built it.
Right.
But I wouldn't. There has to be. I mean, maybe that's what the NBA wanted, to get away from the big party of the weekend and be more family and more. That's how they try to promote it on TV, as a family.
Trying to have fun in Utah is like a girl grinding on you with her clothes on, and that's as far as it goes. She's got on jeans, the whole getup. She's dressed from head to toe. She's even got a winter jacket on, and she's just grinding on you.
And before it even started, before the first even initial grind, this is as far as it's going to go.
That's it.
Because it's one thing if you might think there's a possibility.
Yeah, but there isn't.
There's no
This
possibility.
bitch got on a winter coat, Ugg boots, and ski pants, and she's grinding on you, and that's as far as it goes. That's what NBA All-Star Weekend in Utah is going to be like.
But they do the whole NBA, development. Would they bring the little kids in? And that's what they show on TV. That's what they want to be. The truth is, and this was great. I was in I was in Arizona. I was working at a club, at a bar restaurant club, during the Super Bowl. The first time they had the Super Bowl there, and it was ridiculous. It was one of the greatest weekends of my life, as far as partying goes, going out. Just everything that happened was just on another level. It vibrates different.
Right.
So I wish I was out there this weekend, but on the other hand, I'm glad I'm not out there this weekend. It's a lot of work, and I'm old now.
Yeah. The temptation factor would be through the roof.
But it's good to be out here. Where are we at right now? We're in Virginia Beach. There's nothing going on here.
Okay, so listen, let's jump into this great documentary, man.
Yeah, because we barely have any time now.
But this is great. Stand. It's called Stand on Showtime, about Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. And I was a little confused at first, because when I watched it and it was over, I went, this motherfucker. I even teared up a couple times. But I texted Andy and was like, yo, man, this shit is fire. And Andy hit me back and was like, it's okay. And my jaw dropped. Because I'm sitting here like, it had so many great elements and talking points. And then the through line in it about Mahmoud wanting to know who his father was, which he never knew or came to find out. And I'm thinking, Andy, as much as he talks about his boys and he's a proud father, a loving father, a caring father, that didn't touch you?
But okay. I had to rewatch it, first of all. I told you.
And then you told me last night you rewatched it and it changed your mind a little bit.
A little bit, but there's issues that I have with it, because there's this guy. First of all, when we talk about some of the greatest players, health, this dude could have been one of those, because look at him right now. He looks like he could walk out on the court today. Yeah. And he does. I mean, he still plays. Right. There's some people that are just physically, mentally, it all comes together. And he looks like he could still play. He does play. I mean, he plays in the Ice Cubes League, whatever that thing is.
Right, the Big Three.
Big Three. Man, when I watched it, it's just, I think there's just so many threads that I was like, why couldn't this have happened? And why couldn't? And so when I was so, even with the joyous ending that they tried to put in there, there's still frustration to me. And I feel like this was this person, the opportunity for him, for the NBA, for us as a society. There was so much there. And how did it all got missed. And I think it's just my sadness for that is why I'm like, I can't. I wasn't able to be excited about it. The documentary, watching the second time, I really took it in and didn't personalize it, and it was a lot different for me. But there's a lot of pain in there, man. There's so much pain in this documentary.
Yeah,
and they can spin it in any way.
Pain and anger,
anguish. There's a lot of words to describe this. I would like Johnny Cochran to be right here. I would like him to.
I feel like when you. And by the end of the documentary, of course, all the people that were there to talk about Mahmoud and people in the NBA, they all admit the same thing. Yo, we did him dirty. He was done wrong. It was foul. It was fucked up. There should be some kind of, the word escapes me, but not like a, how you get paid like a lawsuit?
Yeah.
He should be compensated. When you do somebody wrong like that, from that standpoint, where they, you basically took away the man's career, his livelihood. He talked about how basically he went broke. You owe him something. You owe him more than an apology. You owe him more than that. And of course, that's the easiest thing to do is say, I'm sorry, because it didn't come with anything. It's just words. And when you look at how they did that man who was Kaepernick before Kaepernick, and a lot of people said this, and I'm going to ask you if you agree, who was Steph before Steph, and you robbed the basketball lovers of the chance to see that greatness. Yo, you owe them something more than words. And yes, the words it's a nice sentiment, but you owe him more than that. Pay this man.
There are some, the other part of it when I said it was all right is I have the ultimate respect for him. And what you just said, there's no way to compensate him.
That's
financially,
right.
Whatever. The only way we can compensate him is in a societal way because he gave it up for his beliefs. So we have to honor that in a way and be better. That's the only way. Financial would be great. You could reward him financially. You want to do something where the NBA would, whatever you wanted, whatever you could come up with. That doesn't solve the problem of what would be meaningful to him, I don't think. Because he has a life now where he's set up. That's not the issue. I think the disappointment with him would be how far have we come since I went through this? That would be, I think that's the question that didn't get asked in this. And that's where why I don't think this is a great doc is for me. The question is, how do you see? No one's asked the question. Do you see that we've come further from when you were in the NBA and the way that you were treated? Do you think it's different? And we have a great example in Colin Kaepernick. And did you see everything go down almost exactly the same way, or did you see improvements? And where did you see improvements?
That's an interesting question.
And it wasn't in this doc. And
right.
What is more meaningful to me to me? What I would want to understand is that perspective from him, and I didn't get it. So that's when I'm talking about my feelings about this doc, and I'm pretty. Last night when we tried to talk about it for just a second before we came here, I'm pretty passionate about it, and I said some things and I shouted some things to you as you were walking the other way, and then you came back over and you were like, because there's these holes in this doc. That could have been way more meaningful, but maybe if they would have presented it as just about him and his story without everything else that surrounds it, but I don't know how you could have done it. I thought it was a good doc. I would recommend watching it.
I would definitely recommend watching it.
I just have a lot more questions. I didn't get the answers I was looking for. And I want to know his opinion on these things.
Was he Steph before Steph?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, in terms of range, no. But in terms of consistency,
okay,
yes.
In consistency, but range, we don't know because this is the difference between Steph, and Steph had to be consistent to get this. But the difference for Steph was he was allowed to take those shots and stay in the game. How many people could take those shots, miss that shot, and get to stay in the game? I just watched a thing where they said, what was it? Was it the doc we just watched where he misses the shot but he stays in the game?
Which doc?
I don't even remember which doc it is. I've been watching so many docs on basketball lately. There was a player who said, "Yeah, I missed the shot, but I'm still in the game. I didn't get taken out of the game.
Right.
That's how good I am."
Right.
Before the 3-point line was not, and this is going back to our other conversation about the basketball and the GOATs. When the 3-point line wasn't embraced like it is now. The game has changed. The 3-point line wasn't, and Pat Riley had a lot to do with this, because Pat Riley's the one who showed round numbers and showed that unless you're hitting this number, if you hit over this number, it's the same as making a 2 percentage-wise. If you over a certain amount of shots, and Riley went over it, and you had to be. And Riley's hated the thing that Riley hated most about basketball is when you shot and your foot was on the line or like a foot over into the regular shot, because he said you might as well step out another foot because that shot is worthless. Because if you miss it, it's just lowering your average. You're not adding points to the board, and you essentially took a 3-point shot with a 2-point payoff, even if you make it. Anyway, going outside of that, because I like Riley. Riley's another person who gets overlooked in some of these conversations. But going back, his shot, he wasn't allowed to take that shot. He couldn't have taken that shot that Steph gets to take and stayed in the game. So we'll never know if he had that exact same kind of range, but I think he could have. You watch him shoot now. Did you see him some of those shots that he took?
Yeah.
I think he has the same range.
And this is where I go again to the youth. Y'all kill me. It's like when your parents used to tell you as a kid, you think you know everything. And you do. As a kid, you think you know everything. You think you are wiser than the people who have lived the life you're living and who have the experiences that you have yet to have. So when you guys think you invented everything, Steph. Mahmoud did what Steph did. Mahmoud was before Steph. His ability to shoot threes and knock them down at a deadly pace. Yeah, you didn't invent. Steph's not new. He's new in terms of, again, some of the range. But in terms of being deadly from 3, yeah. And Steph's driving game, paint game, is not as great as Mahmoud's. Mahmoud's ability to play in the paint, drive, dunk, finish. Nah, Steph wasn't as.
Mahmoud had Ivan Iverson. God, I'm not speaking at all.
Yeah.
Ivan Howard. Fuck it. What you said.
AI. Say AI.
AI. Had his game underneath the basket in the paint.
Right.
It was crazy that you would put your body out like that. And again, you're not going to understand this unless you understood that time period. You didn't go into the paint and get a foul. You went into the paint, got fouled, and if you made the basket, it counted as 2 points. If you didn't, there probably wasn't a whistle unless there was some blood, because you chose to go in there. Right. That's the unwritten rule. You chose to go in there.
Yeah.
Unless someone really fucking fouled you, you weren't going to get the call.
Was it me, or did you notice whenever they cut to him being interviewed as he is now, older, did the Tourette's go away?
You manage it better, you know.
He didn't flinch one time.
No, there was a couple flinches.
Really?
Yeah, but not terrible. This is another thing that irritates me about this man's life for him.
Right.
Dude, what an opportunity for the world, the NBA, sports, mental health, mental illness to come together. And here you have a young man that plays a game at a high level, and he has this obvious problem where people are making fun of it. But instead of making fun of it, today's NBA would have been running all the did you know pro specials and putting it on the air and having people talk about all kinds of mental health issues, especially Tourette's. But that just completely got overlooked, and they almost clowned on him. And that pisses me off. It pisses me off to no end, because there was an opportunity for people who have special needs that they could have really helped at that time. And instead they just passed on it. Like that was just a weird thing. And it's not a weird thing. It's a documented thing.
But it seems though through lack of education, it feels like in the early stages of everything, whether it's Tourette's, when the HIV thing first popped off, lack of education, lack of materials, lack of knowledge. We approach it from an ignorant place because of fear or whatever, because we simply don't know. Like even when his mother said
that pissed me off too.
I felt bad because I would yell at him, not knowing he was suffering from something he couldn't control. I so tuned in, and that clicked for me, because I remember my mom crying after I came back from the doctor when they said that I was dyslexic and colorblind, and my mom was so mad because I couldn't get my phone number right,
And I couldn't, she'd put the crayons out and which color, we'd go through them and I'd watch her. I'd remember what it was and try to remember where they were so that I could get it right. And then she'd wait a minute and then she'd put them back out and I wouldn't get it. And she was crying because she actually hit me. She actually, not out of anger, out of frustration, not hit me, like punched me, but smacked me and said, "You're just being lazy. You're not paying attention. You don't want to learn this." Had nothing to do with it. And so those triggers for me when I watch this just pissed me off. And the fact that the mom, and I wish she would have done more. And this is what I talk about. This is why I like talking about True on stage. This is why I run that joke all the time. This is why I talk about him, because when people come up to me and go, "Yeah, my son," and I'm like, "Well, are you getting services for him?" "Yeah," because when my son went to go get services for his for all his issues, they're like, "Well, he's a really nice kid, and he seems like he might grow out of this quite a bit, and this, and let's try to mainstream him." And I listened to him. I would tell everybody, don't mainstream your kid. Mainstreaming is what they say to parents to make them feel better about their kid who has issues. Get them the most amount of services that they can in the beginning, and then if they do grow out of it, great, then mainstream them. Then put them in a school where they can handle the situations that are going to come up in the school, and the students are going to treat them like their regular peers because they're not acting different. My son didn't get that because I listened to some not people who want the best for the parents. And this really becomes about the parents because the kids can't advocate for themselves. Only the parents can. And when the parents don't know to advocate for the kids, or when doctors say things like, "Well, there's a possibility he could grow." There is a possibility he could grow out of it. Yeah, but why don't we get him the most services at the beginning? And the reason they don't do that is because a lot of the systems, the school systems that are in place, don't want to spend the extra money on these things. If you find out your kid has an issue or you think your kid has an issue, you get to the doctor, then whatever they say, do as much as you can for your child in the beginning, because that's the best time. When ages 1 through 5 is when you learn the most. So I get very frustrated when I see this, and that's why I'm mad about this. The mom kind of let me, and she was a nice woman. She wasn't trying to be a bad mom, but that's the situation that he grew up in. And that's why I say there's just so many opportunities he missed for him.
Right. As far as his stance, and I gotta say, man, again, I don't want to, but you can't evade it because look, there is a racial component, obviously, to this because he was Muslim when he turned Muslim, and he didn't want to stand because of his religion, and he said that based on what America, in terms of its history, is known for, and the treatment of people of color and some of the hypocrisies, he didn't believe in it, and because of he didn't believe in it and support it, that's why he didn't stand. And I love how at the end, I forget the one NBA analyst, his name, but he points out, and they actually play or not only play but show the lyrics of the national anthem, and they point out the parts. He goes, when people sing the national anthem, the part they don't sing is the part that describes the racism.
But that's the third stanza, and the third stanza has never been part of it. They do the first two, and that's what's part of the anthem. That other part's been removed and should be removed from history. If you want to change the anthem, I think that you could do that too. I think people could put a movement together to change the national anthem, but the national anthem, as it's sung, does not have that. I understand what that is. I didn't write it, and the person who did write it was definitely for slavery. So I wouldn't have any problem with that changing. I don't know how many Americans that, if they understood it, wouldn't have a problem with changing it. But my issue with it is, he didn't say all this at the time. He said it as he explained himself earlier. And one of the things that is different between, not greatly different, but a little bit different between him and Kaepernick is, Kaepernick said some of the reasons why he was doing what he was. He even talked about no one even noticed for the 6 months. Kaepernick, they didn't notice for a while either, but don't let other people put words in your mouth. That's the thing. People were making assumptions of why he was doing it. He wasn't saying everything specifically at that time what his truth was.
Mode.
Yeah, and so people were just...
But should he have to?
Then why do it? Why do it? Because...
I know, but as a grown man and living in a country that's supposed to be free, You don't owe anybody anything.
Well, okay, this is where it gets complicated, and then here's where the problems come in. The NBA is a business. I don't know, unless you're an independent contractor, no matter who you work for, if you do something foul, they can fire you for it. Most companies have agreements in your contract about what you can and what you can't do. And then if you do something that it puts their company in a bad light, they can remove you. So is the NBA a business? Yeah, it's a business. And so you can do anything you want on your private time, but on the time when it's there. So here's the thing. Sue the NBA, sue the NFL for making you stand up for a national anthem, because why is that part of the game? And frankly, I mean, sports have gotten, television I think has gotten wise to this, because if you notice, unless it's a very important game, the national anthem isn't televised. It used to be televised all the time. They don't do it anymore because they don't want the controversy. If you want to, as players, sue them to remove it, because that isn't part of the game. It's not part of anything other than to a recognition of the country that you're in, because that's why you stand when you go to the Olympics and some other country that you might have been in a war with or even warring with now, they play the national anthem for the winner. You got to decide why it's being played and then remove it or understand and accept those reasonings. I was all for Colin Kaepernick to do what he did, because it wasn't that he didn't stand. He just took a knee, and I think that is appropriate. I don't know why I think it's appropriate. I said because if you feel that the oppression of our country is so great that it weighs on your shoulders that you don't have the strength to stand and you have to take a knee, then let's all take a knee until we can all stand together. That's my point and my appreciation for
So
what he
for
did.
the record, do you think Mahmoud was wrong?
I don't think it was wrong. I don't think that it was clear of what should have happened. And I do think that you need to say it, because if you have a reason that you're doing it, other than just doing it, people are going to put words in your mouth and tell you the reason why you're doing it, or explain to others why you're doing it. You need to talk about why you're doing it. Oppression, yeah, it can be talked about that way, but then say it.
That you just said the word oppression. And I love when he did the interview later, and I think this was the interview that really put the nail in his coffin.
Yes.
But when he did the interview, he said, they talked for 6 hours. And this is how you talk about you, Andy, the media. And I went, when I watched this part, I went, that's what Andy's talking about. The media, hold the media accountable. Because when he said the interview was 6 hours, but they cut it down to almost a snippet.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. And the words that stood out of context was tyranny and oppression.
Yeah.
And Mahmoud's explanation of, America and the hypocrisy and the tyranny and the oppression of colored people of color, and blah, blah, blah. And that's what the media ran with. America, tyranny, oppression. And when they cut it down to 6 minutes, and he just made it seem like America was just this evil bastard, this almost like a dictator. Of course, and I've got to be honest, because I don't think there are many people of color who would have this stance, but those are the trigger words for white America to go, I hate you. How dare you? Cancel him. Kill him. Fucking go back to where if you don't like this. Those words, bad-mouthing America and using words like tyranny and oppression, that's going to get you in trouble.
Okay, but let's break that down a little bit so that we can understand. So that, let me break it down in this way, so that a white person who doesn't understand what he just said can be understood why they said what they said. I'm a white dude living in Middle America, maybe southern part of Middle America, the South, and there I am, and I'm watching this guy. And I root for the team or whatever. And basketball is great. I love the sport, but I don't want my politics in the sport. And then there's this guy who's making way more money than I made. It seems like he has plenty of opportunity in life. And then he hears, but I'm not going to stand for the flag that covers this country because of tyranny and oppression. He goes, well, why? You have all this. The country got you this. They don't understand. They don't understand the other part. I'm not. So that the reason I'm saying you have to speak is so that those writers and the people that when this started, they already put those words in the mouth. Tyranny and oppression was already something that was said. He didn't ever have a chance to really speak his honest truth, because by the time he did speak, Everybody already had opinion of what he said, and already people were already talking about why. You have to, if you're going to do it, if you're going to put your career, if you're going to put everything on the line for it, then tell everybody why. So if you lose it, at least the people that know you and believe in you understood that they're believing and knowing you for the right reasons.
The people that know you and believe in you don't need to hear you give an explanation.
You're right. But the other people out there, it changes if they understand you. People, they don't necessarily know you, but they're watching you. And listen, you might have a lot of support if people understood because you put it out there the way for them to understand it. Listen, I understood. So if I understand, why don't other people understand?
Because you're Larry Bird.
No, because I don't think people get the information. They accept information from less than reasonable sources.
Andy, there is a large number of those people who don't want to understand.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm not saying it's going to change everybody's opinion, but control your narrative. Because if this is I'm not going to stand because I'm against this and I don't believe in it. Let people know why so that they can understand and so they can either like you or dislike you for your reasons, not the reasons that the media presents to them. And then you have to be very careful because even when you go to, when the media comes to you, can you trust that media outlet to not do you dirty? He was done wrong. Like at the time, I didn't understand it and I didn't know. When he started standing and doing the prayer, I was like, that's a reasonable compromise.
Right.
It was a compromise that he was willing to accept. He's still standing.
And he still was hated for that. Even more so because, and this takes me to my next point, because Muslim.
Right.
And there's this boogeyman thing that America somehow associates Muslim, the religion, being Muslim, as these scary boogeymen, which I gotta say, I always go, it's astounding to me the hypocrisy of America. And when I say America, I'm talking about white America. Not all of white America, but a great deal of white America. That again, the audacity to look at a race of people or a religion as some sort of boogeyman that causes terror when some of the most terror has been caused by America.
No, that's not true. I'm not going to give you that one.
Well, you don't have to give it to me. I'm going to take it. You ain't going to change my stance.
Because you said by America. America has traumatized a group of people that they enslaved and brought here. But when you're talking about the tyranny, the whole oppression, the bad parts of the world, America's only been alive for 240 something years. They haven't had enough time to be the overseer of all bad. You're taking what you're mad about or what you see, and I shouldn't use the term mad. You're taking the truth of this country and you're using it for a worldwide from the beginning of time, and that's not how this works. America hasn't been around long enough to take responsibility for everything, all the evils and all the bads.
Okay, well, let me backtrack. I won't say all the evils and all the bads, and I think if I know you're referring to everything. Like
well, that's how you said it.
All right, like if Vince Morris was here, you're talking about the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Well, my from what I know has been bad enough.
Okay, and I understand
400 years of that through the 60s till still today. That's enough.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what and that should be the focus. But when you talk about,
but I'm leaning more towards again the hypocrisy. When we talked about the Willie Mays doc, and we've said this on more than one occasion, this attitude of prove to me, show me, black person, make me feel comfortable. We have to dance the dance for white America to feel comfortable and safe, and all these things where the historical evidence has proven. You should be making us feel comfortable.
But the reason,
how dare you? How dare you?
The reason I put it into the conversation and the parameters that we're talking about of America and keeping it to America, because if you take it outside of America and then we talk about Muslims and then you talk about the religion of the Muslim religion in Africa, and I have to take you and we're going to have a debate or a conversation on how that religion got there and how black people that lived in Africa as Africans who practiced basically what the Native Americans did, the Indians, the First Nations, they practiced almost the same, or it was a spiritual with the earth, with the sun, with the moon. how did the Muslim religion get there, and under what tyranny did it arrive there? So I don't want to have that conversation. So keep it in America, and we can have it on America, and I can agree with everything that he's going through here in America. And I can also say for the Muslims that live here, there's no the Muslim religion is I hate to say it this way because you hear this all the time. It's a beautiful religion when practiced. All religions are beautiful when practiced correctly. It's always the extremes of every religion that makes a religion fucked up. That's why I don't consider myself religious or believe it, because all religions in an extreme are fucked up. So I get what you're saying. I feel sad for the representation that Muslims in this country had to go through because of a frightening experience, and then they wanted to weigh that heavy on all Muslims. But we do that in this country. Our black and white relationships are because of extremes of one side versus the other side. They're not the general public. The general public wants to get along. We want to go to work together. We want to do things together. We don't want this to be tearing us apart. It's always the extremes. But that's why I try to keep these parameters, and I get fucking beat up for trying to try to keep our conversation inside of parameters sometimes, because I do look at it for the bigger picture, the whole humanity, the whole world. And so then I have to put those parameters around it so I can have the discussion the way that it's supposed to be discussed.
The part that made me cringe a little bit, I was like, when he did that interview that he says they talk for 6 hours, and I'm like, man, talk about standing on your convictions. You have to have the balls of King Kong to do an interview right after 9/11 and suggest that Osama bin Laden is innocent until proven guilty. That right there. Now, again, they chopped it down to 6 minutes and used words like tyranny or oppression. But saying that immediately after 9/11, that's the nail in the coffin.
Okay, then let's get to my other problem with this doc. And it's not with the doc. And the reason I would like somebody to have some more conversation with him, and I can understand his convictions as a Muslim and how he believes and what he wants to believe. And when I say that, what he wants to believe is important, because there's a certain, in all religions, there's a certain leap of faith to put you into these religions. But when he came into this, he came in young. I wrote it in my notes. I should look it up. But basically, he was reborn to being a Muslim. And when you're born and you're excited and you're lost your whole life, and now you have this beautiful religion that's going to give you everything that you've been looking for, that you've been missing, you're going to defend that. You're going to defend it to the death. You're going to defend it because you believe in it. And that's why people like Akeem came out and said, that's not exactly what it says. That's not what you have to do. You're making this what you want to do.
Right, when he said you don't have to not stand for the anthem.
And when the lady who he was staying with took her out, and then he wouldn't touch her, and then that was perceived as something horrible to her, when to him, he was just trying to honor the religion where it's customary not to touch a woman because a physical contact between men and women can lead to something else, and that's what you don't want to do. Even in your mind, you have to keep your mind. If your mind's free, then your body can be free. All that is part of it. But also, again, that's not part of the religion. That's part of the customs, because that keeps people in a better place in theory. That's what that was. And so understanding it and being one with the religion and understanding how to experience your religion in life are two different things. And when you're new and you want it to be you and you want to embrace it for everything that you feel it's given you, you want to give everything back to it. And that's what he was doing. Again, I think there's so many opportunities here. People were trying to talk to him. I mean, we're talking, Akeem Olajuwon comes from a completely different background than he does. And he honors everything that he's supposed to do, as far as I understand. I don't know him personally, but here's somebody you could have a conversation. Wouldn't it be interesting if a group of Muslim players were to grab him and go, hey, man, I understand what you're trying to do here. We have these conversations about how to fit our life here, our spiritual life, our MBA life, all this, how we work it together. Come talk to us. Let's all talk. Let's break some bread. Let's see if we can figure out how to work this. But he seemed all on his own because, and this is where it makes me extra mad, he had some outside issues with the Tourette's and the way that he was, and the shaking and the face. He wasn't it almost seems like he wasn't a full part of that NBA either.
Well, he was aloof. You know, he purposely was aloof.
Because people made fun of you. Of course you're aloof and people do that to
it
you.
wasn't just that, but
when you
that
grow
was
up
his
that way.
personality.
Yeah, but he grew up into that personality.
But I like when Jalen said towards the end, and I hear what you're saying, and that's a great point about if there are other Muslims in the league, come to him, grab him, school him, educate him, put him under the wing. But even the non-Muslims, as black players in a predominantly black league, look out for your brother. Even if you're not Muslim and you don't understand his stance and what he's doing, and not saying try to change who he is or what he stands for, but just on some brother-to-brother shit.
Conversation.
Like, hey, man, look, you are black in a business where, you know there's racism in this shit, and, we try to look out for you, brother. So maybe, just have a meeting with the brothers and try to go, hey, man, they're watching us. It's different. We know what exists.
But see, we're so tribal, he wasn't even black anymore. What he was this guy.
The Tourette's guy.
That's what they saw him as. So when you're this guy and that's all you can, that now you're not, I don't see you as anything but this guy. And that's what happens to people. That's why we're so fucked up in our tribalism. And we make tribes all the time. We don't even realize it. We go down the street, you're down the street, you buy a new car. And then you drive down the street and you see everybody that's driving that car. I'm in the I don't know.
Automatically gets a pussy game.
Yeah. Whatever your thing is.
Right.
We do that all the time. And so I think the reason I'm so angry about this is he was so left on his own all the fucking time. On his own island. And you know what? I don't know how he feels today. I know how he looked in the interview, and I respect him so much for how he took this is the life the life I chose. This is the life I lead. This is what I'm doing. This is who I am. And I'm comfortable with that. And if you can get there, fuck everyone else. Because if you can get to a place where when you're going to meet the creator at the end of your road and you're comfortable with everything you did, what else can you ask for? Because when the person, when whatever it is that asked you at the end of this, how do you feel about everything? Good.
Right.
How many people are going to get to say that? I'm just disappointed that he was left out there for so long.
I find it funny that when they cut to a young Steve Kerr, who was playing with the Bulls, and he said he didn't agree with Mahmoud's stance, but he respected his right to freedom of expression. And now today's Steve Kerr is so outspoken in regards to social issues in favor of black people. Like Popovich, he's just, any chance Steve Kerr gets to speak out on the injustices of black people, he's front and center. I wish he would have been that front and center back then. But again, he was younger. And in our youth and our lack of experience or knowledge of certain things, we're not as vocal, or we're scared to say the wrong thing. I just found that funny that his stance on the stance he took when he was young versus now, he's such a mouthpiece on the behalf of black society.
Well, do you not think that it has something to do with working in an industry?
Of course.
And so,
of course.
So when it comes down to it, isn't it just a matter about relationship? Don't you think that as people spend more time with each other instead of away from each other or against each other, that we would all find these common grounds? This is what pisses me off all the time, because we always are so far apart when we're really living next door to each other. But it doesn't make a difference, because unless you talk to each other, break bread with one another, spend that time, watch your kids. This is the dumbest one that I could say, but I'm going to be honest. Watch your kids swim in the same pool.
Yeah.
When you look at your kids, and your kids don't have the same problems you do, because when we bring everything that's happened to us to the pool, let's just say, and our kids are in there just having fun. What is in the pool? Water, kids, maybe a ball or something that you're having fun with. They don't bring all the other shit that we have, that we're sitting on the chair on the outside looking at this kid. And we did this to the kid. We do this to our kids. We do this. And when I say we, I am saying white. We do this to our kids, but let's not make any mistakes about it. Black folks do it to their kids too, but almost have to, because you have to be careful.
Yeah.
So, but
make sure when you swim in the deep end with them hunkies, you stay closer to the edge. So if they try to drown you, you got something to hold on to.
But this is the, watching this, I just like, this is a great, like, I saw a great man. And he's still a great man. That's the beauty of that's the beauty of the doc. If anything in the doc made me go, after I watched it again, I was like, he's a great man. It didn't make a difference. All this other stuff was just life.
Right.
Him himself, the person, the soul, whoever he is, that was a great man. He said it with conviction, everything that he did. I think that he could have gotten more out of what he had done, and that's why I say that I think he needed to speak up. I think Colin Kaepernick spoke up, but he keeps it limited because he doesn't trust the sources to get his message out the way that he wants to. He uses it in a way to speak differently. Uses different. Let me rephrase that. Uses different channels to get his message out because he can't trust all the open channels.
Do you think that if social media was around during Mahmoud's time, like there is today, the results are different? Because the people that would have clearly stood up for him, meaning the public, meaning black folks in abundance that weren't invested in the NBA and had nothing to lose because they had careers in the league, but just the regular general public. Do you think the outcome would have been different?
You have to talk about what time it is, what time this happens, what time it takes place. I really feel that when we speak about tribal, he wasn't just a black man. He was a black man with Tourette's, and he was also a black Muslim with Tourette's. So now go backwards. He was a Muslim with Tourette's, and he was black. The black one, I'm going to go, and people are going to say, I know I'll get letters about this. No, you're seen as black first. If your own community sees you as something different than you, then how do you not say other people see you that way? And so what I'm saying is, at that time and after 9/11 and everything that was going on and Muslims in this country, I think it would have been hard to gather the momentum that he would have needed at that time, only because, like when we go back to the 9/11 thing and his commentary on that, I think we were more united in being America at that moment.
Right.
Because and the Muslims were coming to get us. It was a disservice to Muslims that live here. I understand the fear. I understand the fear because it's rooted in the extreme of the religion. But we've all seen Christianity's extreme in the religion.
Right.
So, and those are these are the big religions that are competing in the world. How do you not, I don't know. I don't know if social media would have had it or if we would have been just as divided. Do you know what I mean? I think we could have divided. It would have been just as divisive.
Maybe. Listen, when Colin Kaepernick did what he did, of course, black people in abundance showed their support of him through social media. That's why I asked the question, because I'm like, if at a time when there was no social media, so the only media was the media, and based off of how they play their tricky games, you were almost forced to be against him regardless.
Yeah.
But if there was social media where black people could galvanize, Muslims could galvanize on his behalf and say, hey man, bullshit, we support you, understand where he's coming from. That's why I go with the outcome have been a little different.
I think it might have been a little different, but I think the fear that they raised in here and listen, I'm not putting this just on America this way. There was some fear. The fear in America was justified. We watched buildings fall. We watched things happen here. And so it all got pushed on Muslims, and that fear ran rampant here. So it would have been, I don't know if that would have been enough to split the vote in the black community on, well, this is they're blowing shit up here. Don't we want to be careful about what's happening here? So I don't know. And the way the media sold it, the way the big picture media sold it is basically, we watched it happen. If you were Muslim in this country after 9/11, you were under this microscope, not necessarily from the government, but from everybody that you were around. People were trying to get on planes, and you were looked at as you were a problem. You were going to be a bomber, which is funny because if you think about it, when they got on planes, they tried to look as Americanized as possible. So
Right.
I'm a little passionate about this one because I see all the hypocrisy across the board on this, and I don't know that we would have handled it differently with the social media. I think we would have been just as divided. Maybe there would have been at least a place that he would have felt comfortable actually putting out his message. So maybe that would have been the difference, because that's what Colin Kaepernick was afforded, a place to put out his message. And then, like you said, you feel a little bit better when you put out your message, and then a few people, even, whatever the numbers are, come back and say, no, we support you. We understand what you're saying. Sometimes that's enough to make you go, okay, well, then maybe I can open up a little bit about this. Maybe I can talk about, maybe I can handle this in a different way. But at that time it was a very hard, confusing time, because people forget this. That was the first since the inception of the country, when we were still battling Britain for our freedom, which is funny. I said it intentionally that way, to be our own country and enslave a whole another group of people that were already enslaved, but continue the practice. There was never an attack on America. I guess the Spanish American War, there was that going on, the Mexican-American War, but that was over the land at that time. There's never been an actual formal attack on America. America did. I don't know.
I'm terrible at history, so let me ask you: Pearl Harbor.
That was an attack that got us into World War II, but that wasn't on America. That was
soil.
It was on an island.
Right.
It's Hawaii. It's an American island, but it wasn't on the continental part of America. You see, if you watch the news and you see what's going on in Kiev, and you see these attacks and you see the buildings that are blown out, and we never, knock on wood, and I hope it doesn't happen, but we never had to really suffer that kind of.
Right.
So I don't know how we would handle it. So what we did have with the World Trade Center was this immediate, like, we are now vulnerable to being attacked from outside our country.
Right.
And I think that was part of what was the overreaction to the Muslims in general.
Here's another question I'm going to ask you. And again, the through line for this was Mahmoud wanted to know who his father was, wanted to know where his father was, and his mother refused to tell him. And when the general public got a hold of this, they showed the clip where he's at the free throw line and the crowd is yelling, "Where's your daddy?" And I just wanted to ask you, do you think it's fair game for the opposing fans to be able to say what they got to say to get under your skin? You think that's okay? Like, I know you may say, I don't know if the right word is morally, but from a human standpoint, no, it's fucked up. But is that just part of the game? That's what comes with it?
I'll say it this way. And I did think about this a little bit. I think anything you can say in a basketball game to give you an edge, is fair game. Fair game. Let's just say it's fair game to use, because that's what your home court is supposed to be. Whatever. But if you're the piece of shit that thinks about starting that chant, maybe you shouldn't go to games. How's that? Did I answer both questions with the?
So if you're the piece of shit that starts it, you shouldn't go to games. But if you start it and everyone joins in, are they just as much a piece of shit?
I think that I think you can be caught up in that tribalism moment, but right. I really hate it. I mean, I hated that. That's like, to take the worst experience that someone could have, like some people have played on a day that their parent has died.
Right.
And you go out and you play because you kind of put the game, you hear people talk about it. I put the game, I did it for my father. I wanted them to see, I did it for them. I dedicated the game to them. But if you had someone at when you're shooting free throws and they just start yelling, bury him. I mean, yeah, it's, you could do it and you could say,
right.
Oh yeah, look, everybody's doing it. Let's see, I'll bury him. But you're the piece of shit that thought of that. Now, right. We're comedians. We could think of that all day.
Well, it made me laugh.
Yeah, right?
Right.
So we could do it. But I mean, even as a comedian, would I go up there and would I do that? And I got to say, not on something that is like, because now you're bringing the personal into the basketball game. And then is it really valid?
You're a good human being, though. I just attribute that to, you got to be, listen.
You got to take all the edge you can get?
I don't know about that. I just, to me, there's just decency. If you're a good human being and you have decency about you, you just, you know better. It just boils down to, don't you know better? Like, why?
You know, and I agree with it only because, like in a comedy club, if you came in and you're in a wheelchair and I do a wheelchair joke,
Yeah.
well, you wheeled into this comedy club, so
Hilarious.
that's on you.
Hilarious.
And that's my job, and I'm trying.
Well, you know that's specific to what.
Yeah, and I'm
Right.
trying to make you. By that time, if I'm doing a joke about a wheelchair, when I know a wheelchair person sitting there in the front,
Right.
I'm doing that joke is specific for that person. It's to get them to laugh. It's to
Right.
get them past some of the traumas that they're going through. And yeah, it's probably going to freak out some people, but they came to a club, and they came to knowing that could happen there.
Right.
You go to the basketball game, that's not supposed to. That's not the place to do that. But see, that being said, though, if that's our feeling on that, then why, if someone has a great appreciation for America and doesn't want America to be sullied in whatever their feelings are, why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they have to stand for the anthem? That's the rules.
Yeah, you know, Mahmoud did something that I don't understand. Like, he's from Mississippi originally.
Okay.
And at one point, and listen, I'm all for it. If that's where you're from, you want to go home, fine. But he moved into an area where they said it's Klan country. Like the one guy, I think, who is his friend, this white guy, he goes, this area is known for Klan. And he's building this new multi-million-dollar mansion in this area. And the first thing they did, the Klan, because they said they saw the tire truck marks, the tire marks from the truck in the mud when it was rainy, that drove the truck through the frame of his house as it was being built and tried to destroy it. That was the first attempt. The second thing they did was spray paint KKK on the garage door. That was the second attempt. And then finally they burnt the motherfucker down. How many warnings do you need before you go, maybe I shouldn't live here?
Okay.
That's insane that he was persistent on building this house when they gave you 2 warnings they were going to fuck your shit up.
Well, then let's go back to this again. If I'm an American and I play basketball in the NBA and I make my money fair and square and I did everything I could for it, I went through hell as a kid and I did everything and still made my money. I'm an American, so I have a right to put my house here. Oh, I can't put my house here because some people are upset about it and no one's saying anything about it? Okay, so maybe I don't want to stand for the anthem because maybe it doesn't stand for me. So isn't there more, that to me, that's this whole thing is just a vicious cycle of chasing its tail, because what is it? And the other thing is, listen, I'm not going to say that when I first saw this and the trucks going through and then the KKK sprayed on there, I was like, that could just be fucking racist piece of shit's just doing this. But then when they burned the real house down, I was like, man, that's probably KKK.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I could see like a racist, like some of these.
But I don't need you to burn my house down to have me officially put you as the KKK.
No, but
once the tire and you drove through the frame of the house, that's enough for me. But whether you KKK or just a racist piece of shit, that falls under the same umbrella to me.
But I talk about this all the time, man. You got to leave where you're from. You got to leave where you're from. Even if you liked where you're from, leave where you're from. Buy a house somewhere else. Learn some other area. See what it's like. Experience something besides what you already know. Because if that's all you know, that's all you'll ever know.
Welcome to my city. You in my city.
But go somewhere else. Buy some other land. Maybe not buy your dream house yet. Enjoy yourself a little bit. Maybe there's a place that you went, you know what? I love where I'm from. I'm gonna build a rec center there, but I'm gonna like living here. I'm gonna live here where I go outside my door. It's nice. Everybody greets me, waves at me.
Right.
Every once in a while, someone brings a donut and a cup of coffee over to my house and goes, "Man, it's great to have you in the neighborhood."
Right.
I want to live there.
Right.
Because you have the money to live there, man. I listen, and it's not all about money.
That's what happens when you live in Mississippi.
Listen, there's some places that I know I wouldn't live.
Right.
I'm not going to say I've been there and I know I wouldn't live there, but there's from the video I just watched,
right.
I probably don't want to live there.
Real quick, last 2 notes, and these are quick ones. Dude, let me say before I say that. I remember I was like, I know they played together. I wasn't sure, but I remember because I remember Shaq did a. I forget what his coach's name is, but Shaq did a thing about LSU and the relationship that he had with his coach, and I remember there was a snippet in there where he talked about playing with Mahmoud, but it was quick, and I'm just going. They seem to never like Shaq being the center he was, Mahmoud being who he was. I would think those two would have just dominated together and been explosive. They never really. They weren't what him and Penny was or him and Kobe was.
Not together, but LSU, didn't they win? They won.
No. Yeah. I'm just saying you would think together.
Yeah. That
would have been an explosive pairing.
But he said they never connected.
Yeah.
But you know what? And this is as we're summing this up, man, I love Shaq talking about this at the end. And Shaq is one of those dudes when he said, if you really want to make,
and I will say, but go ahead.
No, you go ahead because I want to say my point.
Shaq is so goddamn egotistical. Sometimes when Shaq does interviews, especially again going up against Barkley, and I know that's tongue in cheek, big brother, little brother, but it's almost like every time Shaq compliments somebody, he has to slightly compliment himself too, because he goes. And this goes to me going, how come those two didn't just dominate? Because he kind of alluded to he wanted to be the man. Shaq has always wanted to be, I'm the head nigga. I'm the man. And I'm just like, dude, you can't sometimes put your shit aside for the greater good of the 1-2 punch. Well, because him and Mahmoud should have been a 1-2 punch.
But they did win. So obviously, he acquiesced to I couldn't say other words
you
earlier.
Couldn't say Allen Iverson, but you could say acquiesced.
Yeah. To he did to him so that they did win. But I think where Shaq is, and this is the question I got to ask yourself that I wanted to ask. And obviously I can speak my ideas of what I just saw, but I have to ask myself, if I was black, which I obviously am not, and I had to pick how I wanted to, when you're in this world, you have to manipulate, you have to move things around to get to where you want to go. But how do I want to affect the change that I want? Do it like Shaq, be in the industries, buy industries, be a person that can move an industry along and bring people with you, or not say anything and just stir up. And I'm not trying to put this as small, because it turned out to be big in the end. But you're going to start something that you're not really talking about, that other people take over, that people say, and you don't really even put your true self out there. And yeah, in the end, it caused effect. But who do you want to be? Shaq? Or
Mahmoud?
Or anyone else that doesn't. It's one thing to say, no, I'm against this on this. Shaq never said he's for everything. He's not. Shaq, even when you watch that video, you even can feel what he's saying in it. When he's talking at the end, I just have a different way of doing it. That's what he explains. He has a different.
He does it the safe way.
Is it the safe way or effective way?
Safe way. There are athletes out there, and I think Shaq is one of them, who will take a stance, but only go so far. He's not gonna. He's for the sake of his business, his brand, his money. He's not going to put himself out on a limb that can hurt any of that. And there are players like Mahmoud who go, and Ali and Colin.
Ali's different.
Okay. But I'm just saying, there are guys who go, fuck that, I'm going to tell the truth. And Mahmoud said that in the thing, and I love that. He goes, I'm going to live and die on the truth.
Truth. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but it can cost you. And I'm a living example of it, because comedically, I stand on what I stand on. And the meeting that I just had earlier in the week with my manager and agent, they just said it. They said, man, Aries, my manager goes, Aries, I love you. I'll stand behind you. And it's funny. Managers are like coaches. great coaches, sometimes for the sake of the player, to not fuck up his psyche so he doesn't go out and have a bad game, they don't tell you everything. Or they tell it to you maybe when it's a more appropriate time. And he goes, and I hadn't personally sat down physically in front of my manager and agent since the whole Tiffany thing. But this is the first time I'm sitting down, new year, let's strategize. And he goes, I didn't say this to you. And Aries, I love you. I'm your Jerry Maguire. I'm gonna always be with you. But it was really bad in terms of our inner circle. He goes, we had meetings at the management company about letting you go. But I stood up for you and I said, why? And I fought tooth and nail, and I didn't want to tell that to you early on because I didn't want that to fuck with you. But yeah, it was discussed. And I'm just sitting here going like, to the business, he's like, I stand behind you comedically. I get who you are. I get where you come from. I get the whole old school George Carlin, Richard Pryor, true blue to the buck and blood comedy guy you are. And I think it's hilarious and I love it. But from a business standpoint, you got to do things different for the business. For business, if you want to. And the first thing he goes, one, I hate that shirt, the one I'm wearing now. He goes, you need to stop doing that joke. Stop doing the joke. And immediately I'm going, see, I can't do that. You're telling me to compromise what I believe in comedically for the sake of what? Business? And then he goes, listen, man, the stardom, the Kevin Hart shit, I know you want it. It's like championships. I know you want a championship. But in order to get it, you're going to have to make certain adjustments. And I'm hearing them, but I'm not hearing them, but I'm hearing them. So again, to the Shaq thing, I just, certain guys go, I care so much about my wealth and my being able to afford shit and do shit that I'm not going to let anything step on that. So
I disagree. I disagree with that quite a bit. I think Shaq knows that he can feed more people by winning, by sending more Papa John's people out to people's homes and not trying to decide if they're racist or they're for you or against you, and take their money and do what's better for your community with that money. Make changes in your community based on what you can do. Not what you say, but what you can do. But we say it all the time. It's not what you say, it's what you can do. Shaq can do more.
Fair enough.
Magic does more. You don't hear Magic saying this. Jay-Z, where's Jay-Z's comments through all this last few months of everything that's been said? But Jay-Z's effective.
I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
This is a capitalist system that we live in. You work from the power structure demands that you have success to be able to make change.
I love Jalen when he said, and I was going to say, maybe we should change this to how Jalen coined it, but you can't because, well, the term blackballed.
Whiteballed,
when he said he was whiteballed. Now, in this particular circumstance, that fits it, whiteballed. But the definition of what blackballed means is beyond a racial thing. So you can't quite change it to whiteballed. In this particular context, whiteballed makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense because I can't get into this next part. This is for a different episode. I was gonna. We don't have the time.
Right.
Okay. And I'm realizing from watching a lot of things and listening to some of the things that I've said, I don't give the detailed structure and the actual explanation that I need to make it understood sometimes because I speak in a concept of the idea without making sure that, and my discussion is so nuanced that without it, I don't get it right. I don't translate correctly. So I'm trying to turn that part down and stay focused tightly on what we're talking about.
Okay.
So we'll get into some more of these things.
Well, that's about it, folks. But before we go, I want to say this, and I wanted to point this out, and I was going to point it out before we got heavy into this. But I said, I can save it for the end. Cute little tidbit. I saw Andrew Schultz do an interview online. And did you know that in the movie You People,
Yeah.
the ending scene where Laura London kisses Jonah Hill, CGI?
Well, they said they think it was CGI.
No, he said it was.
He said it was?
He said it was. And he started the interview going, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you guys this. And then he said it. Wow, interesting. I wonder why that was. Was that her call? It wouldn't have been his. What man is going to say, I'm going to turn down kissing a pretty woman?
Well, maybe they did it. And then when they saw it, it was so bad that's when the, what's his face? Barris came in and said, now we got to fix that.
You think that's what it could have been?
Dude, we talked about it a little bit, and I didn't go all the way there and say, yeah, there was no chemistry. Because there was moments where there's a little bit of chemistry, but that can also be part of, that can be part of what's left on the cutting room floor, the director or what they're trying to get to.
Right.
So I'm not going to, but I also know, and listen, this is when you said this CGI, I wasn't even going to bring this up and put this in there. There's a light documentary on Jonah Hill and his therapist that's being done at the same time that they're making this movie. And there's a lot of interesting things that are being said there. So I don't know, I'm not going to put this on Jonah Hill either. Who knows?
But if you were a betting man, would you or would you not say that was her call? Because again, I'm just thinking, she's a beautiful chick. What man turns down the opportunity to kiss a beautiful chick?
The way that I heard it, and I don't know if this is from Andrew Schultz, is that there was a kiss, but it was so bad that they wanted to see it didn't feel right, so they CGI'd it to make it better. That's what I heard from someone. So I don't know.
God, I wonder if that's true.
So since I don't know, I can't say. But
because I'm telling you right now, I know if the scene was with her and Morris Chestnut or Shamar Moore, she ain't turning that down. Maybe I'm wondering, maybe she was like a white thing. Like, I'm like you said, she's coming from Nipsey Hussle. I can't kiss this doughy white boy.
And that's, and we didn't talk about it, but Nipsey Hussle did get a lot of little tidbits throughout that movie. They went to the store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a few other things that they did in the movie. So, that has to be kind of up there too. I mean, she's seeing this while she's making this movie.
Right.
So it's not like it's not Nipsey free. It's not like, well, I'm just this actress and I'm gonna kiss this little.
So you think there might have been a certain, though he's passed away, still a certain devotion and
respect and yeah, maybe I don't know.
That's a queen, baby. That's a soldier.
I don't know. I'm just saying, just from these little things, man. It's never the big thing that you think it is. It's always the little stuff, especially with women.
CGI a fucking kiss.
You could CGI anything. I have a 12-foot dick on any movie I make if I get a contract.
Hilarious, Andy. Hold up. Zip. Folks, it took a while, but it's coming. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? It took Andy a minute, but it's coming now. He's starting to fucking, okay. Damn. Then in my movies, I got 12 inches and a quarter.
Whatever you need.
That's insane. That's scary.
But mine's girthier. I'll give you the quarter.
That's scary, dude. Because then you start to ask yourselves, at what point are actors becoming obsolete?
You're
are they going to CGI a whole movie with no actors to save money?
They could do it right now. And that's what that lawsuit on Back to the Future 2, I think, was, when they used the guy who said he wasn't going to be in there. And they used other footage and then they CGI'd it to fix it so that it fit into it. And he had to sue because it was his likeness, even though he wasn't in the movie, to get them not to do that.
I heard there's a moment in the new Indiana Jones movie, which Harrison Ford said is officially his last one, where they CGI him younger. And to that obsolete shit, I'm going, if they could do that, that means the franchise can live on. But you know what I mean? And look, Harrison Ford looks 80, which is why he's 80. And I'm just going, come on, man. Like to this young generation who don't even know Indiana Jones, but if your parents took you to go see it right now and you're kind of a kid/teenager, You don't know the history. So you might be able to invest in this and buy it. This was my childhood. This was the 80s. So I'm just going, this is ridiculous. This nigga's 80, yo. Come on.
Dude, it doesn't make a difference how old you are. If you want to go up there and act and do it, why not? You could be an archaeologist. Why can't I use words?
Archaeologist.
Archaeologist. Here, I got to say quiet.
Boy, your mind, it's almost like your mind with words is a raffle, nigga. Certain times you pull out the right number, other times shake the bowl. Jesus Christ.
I need a reset button.
All right, give us some dates.
All right. Hey, guys, listen, we are in Virginia Beach this week. Next week, we're in Albany Funny Bone.
Oh.
And that's going to be the 17th and 18th of February. Then we're going to be at the Denver Improv the 24th and the 25th. Denver Improv. March. And I don't know, March 3rd and 4th, we're going to be at Cincinnati Funny Bone in Liberty Township. And then March 10th and 11th, Syracuse Funny Bone. Then March, and I keep saying and then March 17th and 18th, Omaha Funny Bone. I'm probably not going on that one, guys. Sorry.
Why?
That's the one. There's 3 shows, and I can't.
We'll work it out.
We'll figure it out. But
you're not going to have me in Omaha by my motherfucking self. There's certain places I'm not going to by myself because I think it's safer for me to have a white dude with me.
I'm not the right. You want a white dude?
Nah, dude. Your
you
beard,
need a
listen,
white
your
dude.
beard looks like a get out of jail free card.
Wait, let me change hats because this hat looks like the hat I would have to wear to get you out of jail.
There we go.
That's like the dad hat right there.
Yeah, that looks like my attorney hat.
Right?
You got my Jew attorney.
Yeah.
All right.
And wait, for the week after that, and this one just got announced, so I don't even know if it's on your. I'll give out 2 more. This one just got announced, so it might not be on your website yet. The Miami Improv.
Oh boy! Hello, America! Oh boy!
And things are open now. So
Miami, Florida.
Yeah, you're gonna have to really work out that week before because you're gonna fuck it up that week. 24th to the 26th, and then back in San Antonio at the LOL.
I like that place.
Yeah, Comedy Club in March. That's March 30th, and then through April 2nd. Okay, so that's where we're gonna be.
Real quick, have you seen the theatrical trailer for the George Foreman movie?
No, I haven't.
Somebody sent that to me, and when I watched it, I thought it was for like Hulu. Then I went to go see this movie called Fear the other day, and there was a poster for this. They're doing a bio movie on George Foreman. I'll send you the clip.
I think you could. I think a rapper could make beats out of Foreman fights.
Out of his punches?
Yeah.
He might be able to. Sock 'em, rock 'em robots?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back and forth.
All right, y'all.
Here we go.
That's it.
Bye.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Ari Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.